Mr. Coyote,
Senor Solomon,
please tell me you brought some cigarettes. I'm fresh out.
well, I brought you a pack.
Oh, you
Good
are
for
a
you.
generous man. Tried to quit, but it's never really stuck. You know what I mean?
See, it's a really interesting place to have a chat.
I've been shot a lot in the last few weeks, so it's safe to say that my paranoia levels are at an all-time high. Plus, I'm talking to a cop, which in certain circles is enough to shoot me.
See, not when you
Solomon, he's been
are being
smashed by the
implicated
boat.
in stuff that perhaps there is no legitimate proof for.
Say that
By
again?
the way, don't mind the backup.
No, that's fine. Like I said, I mean, I want you to feel safe. You know what I mean? So, you know, you being here in uniform with your car and everything else, absolutely fine.
So I was, I was pleasantly surprised that you're calling me. May I inquire what it was about?
Well, I had been told under good authority that you were the investigation guy. That's what I was told. If investigation was to be done in any level, you would either be leading it or somehow involved in it.
See, well, I'm here if you have any question.
Well, I mean, I might have a few, and then you might have a few. My first question I got for you is, and this is mere just curiosity at this point, is I've not seen or heard or had anything discussed with me about me being shot in the head up Sandy Way a while ago. So I thought I'd see if that investigation was done and finished, or maybe while I was in my coma it was all resolved.
That is not resolved one bit. It has been looked into by myself, but it has not been resolved. And whoever it is that carried out that action, justice has not been served to them. You are a very important piece to illuminate what happened to you that day, as well as to illuminate what happened the day of the shooting in City Hall. Because I'm sure you have heard that there are certain implications made involving you, to which I don't believe you have had a chance to speak on, share your point of
Yeah,
view,
bit
to
late for that, innit?
exonerate, or etc., etc.
That is true. Yeah, I was surprised that no one reached out at any point. I'm not exactly hard to find.
Well, believe me, I've been dying to have this conversation, but my schedule is all out of whack. That is my fault. The shift that I've been working is not when you are around. But here we are today, and that is what matters.
So do you have questions for me, I guess, or do I have questions for you?
But like I said, you reached out first. I would like you to go first, senor.
Well, I mean, I've kind of asked the most pertinent question, which is, you know, what was going on around me being shot. You know, obviously that took place. I was hospitalized in a coma state for near enough a week, and I woke up, and I'll be honest with you, mate, I mean, for the first week of waking up, I could only see in two colors, black and white.
Oh, you colorblind.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's what, you know, all color from life was stripped from me.
It's okay. You will see your values better. Make you a better draftsman.
Better draftsman.
The one who draws, of course.
Oh, I'm not really much of an artist.
Well, maybe you can start.
I've got arthritis in both my hands. Too many years firing guns.
You know, I might even challenge you on that point, Senor Solomon.
What, challenge me on being an artist?
See?
I mean, you can try. I mean, I've seen Mystic Men. They're not very good.
Sure, but it's not only with a pencil and brush that a man can, draw a picture or make something beautiful.
I mean, I'm not a great musician either, if that's where you're going with this.
See, but You know, there's a lot of rumors going around and certain implications that I alluded to earlier. That if you did have a part to play in, would make you a pretty fine artist. Very bold one as well. See here, Solomon, I will start from the top and I will cut to the chase. I would like to speak to you about the day of the shooting. I believe that there was moves made to impeach the deputy mayor and remove him from office.
That's me.
See? And I believe the reasons for this, and correct me if I'm wrong, are in part because Solomon is believed to have had a part to play in the City Hall shooting.
Is that a dramatic pause, or you got a question you're ready to fire up?
No, I'm waiting to, I'm pretty much, I guess, waiting for your reaction.
I mean, I read my articles of impeachment, so I'm aware of what was written there.
I haven't. Because the first time I heard, I was told that the articles of impeachment were limited to members in the council and a select few within the government who had access to such information and papers.
Which, given
Now,
that it
since-
would be a court proceeding, you would imagine that that sort of information would be slightly better dispersed within judicial departments, wouldn't you?
Is that not what is happening now?
I don't know. How would I know what's going on right now? I haven't got a clue.
Well, I believe the day that I found out about it was long ago. It was a week and a half ago, I believe, at this point. But again, those papers were not accessible to an officer or the public. Are they made public now?
Not as far as I'm aware. I mean, no one's alerted me to them being made public.
So you don't even know what the articles are on your own impeachment?
No, I know what the articles are because when they were originally put up, they were put up in the space that, as far as I'm aware, only the council can view. And when they were originally put up, I was still acting as deputy mayor, therefore I could look at the document.
You have since been suspended from your office.
Apparently,
Is
although
correct.
no, well, I mean that is my assumption. Although I have received no communication to the affirmation of that.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions on your whereabouts on the 21st of May?
When was that?
That was the day of the shooting.
Oh, I was in the room.
See, did you have, I guess, for form's sake, I will Mirandize you, that you have the right to remain silent and refrain from answering any questions, because anything you say can and will be used against you if it reaches a court of law and charges are levied. You have the right to an attorney. You don't have to speak to me without a counsel present if you so wish. You currently not being charged with anything, however. So with that said, again, feel free to decline answering anything, but I'm really curious, so I'm gonna ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, you fire away.
See. Well, point blank, did you know that a shooting was gonna happen that day?
No.
You know, upon watching that tape, and I have watched it several times, more than I would like to admit, I seen initially how the first person to get down on the ground was you, senor, which a person can draw two conclusions from. The first is that you had prior knowledge, and the second is you just reacted as anyone with good reflexes who doesn't wish to die would.
That
Which of those two would you say
the
is the
second,
correct
the
one?
second one. Someone starts, especially if your back is to the sound of sudden and immediate gunshots. I don't mean it at distance. I mean you can feel the heat of the muzzle on the back of your head. Any sane person is throwing themselves on the floor. Only an insane person would react any other way.
See, you would see that you were in a room full of insane people that day because nobody reacted the way you did.
Well, evidently I'm told that Cornwood pulled a gun. I mean, brave man, but back to a door, gunshots being fired. I'm dead if I do anything other than throw myself on the floor. And at that point, start praying.
You know, upon asking around and investigating, they told me that you had prior relations and good rapport with the shooters.
I've got a good relationship with a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily mean that's true now.
What do you mean by it's not true anymore?
I'm talking in generalities. I've
See,
been in
but
the
in
city
that-
for a very long time, and for a very long time I was a criminal defense attorney. I have a good relationship with a lot of people.
See, and is that why you got a pass?
Did I get a pass? Or did they think I was dead on the floor already?
What do you think?
I
In
don't know.
earnest.
I don't know. I don't know. All I've thought about at the time, and all I've thought about since, is the fact that someone I considered a brother is no longer with us. The man to my right that day, the man who is no longer with us, he saved my life 5 years ago. It's why, if you notice on that recording, you've clearly spent a lot of time over. When the room is cleared and that door is shut, I was the only person in the room trying to give medical to anyone else in the room. I know you've gone through my phone records via subpoena, so you will also see that I was in contact with EMS and doctors constantly. Not only
That
for
was on-
advice, but also to find out when they would be able to get up. So I would know how to triage those that were wounded inside.
See, in your, the video exonerate you in that sense. There's proof of it. You were on the phone for 18 minutes for Ursula's footage. But you, again, don't believe that you had enough rapport built from the past and a good enough relationship that they would give you a pass if you had not hit the floor?
You have to bear in mind, I don't know someone's about to come in the room. I don't even know who's come in the room. All I hear is gunshots. I'm not going to sit in the chair and hope that maybe whoever it is likes me not to shoot me. I hear gunshots, I hit the deck.
Absolutely, but I'm saying in hindsight, now that the shooters have been revealed, don't you say, "Ooh, it's a good thing I had a prior rapport with these individuals, so much so that they let me live. They didn't shoot me down."
Honestly, I'm sadly of the opinion that if I hadn't been lying on the floor, I would probably have been shot.
Senor Murphy got a pass,
Well, lucky him.
so did Ursula.
Freedom of the press, I guess.
So you think they would have they let those two people live in, but Solomon they would have made an effort to kill?
You asking me to speculate on what was going on in the minds of people that walked into a room and shot a load of people?
See, because you know them better than I do.
I mean, I don't know them well enough to know what they were thinking. Only people who can answer that question is them.
Have you asked them?
No, I don't think I'd like the answer.
So you telling me you not even talked to them since that day?
I haven't asked them that question. Like I said, I didn't think I'd like the answer.
When was the last time you talked to them prior to that shooting?
Prior to the shooting, maybe the day before, or maybe like 4 or 5 hours before. One of the two.
You recall what the talk was about?
Yeah, me and Cornwood had a long conversation actually about raising concerns that some of the legislation that had been changed by Crane could lead to an increased amount of violence on the streets. We agreed that Cornwood would raise the issue and that I would then back him in on that issue in the council. And I informed a few people who were formerly clients of mine when I was a criminal defense lawyer, just to let them know that this was going to be discussed at council level, because I know it was something that was concerning a lot of people in the city.
So you had a conversation with Cornwood first, asking him to raise a specific...
No, I phoned him up and I raised my concern that I felt some of these charges, the fines were so high that it was almost going to guarantee people would, fight twice as hard to try and avoid being arrested, which would in turn then lead to a higher, casualty rate among PD. Cornwood agreed with me. He came up with the idea that he should pitch it to the council, because coming from the PD liaison, it would have more weight to it. And then I would then, agree with him and back him rather than the other way around.
Sorry, they were going off in the radio just now. Are you waiting for anyone to come in here?
No. No, I've got. I mean, again, I've been shot a lot of times in the last few days, so I do have two of my guys around, and the off chance someone rolls in here and tries to kill me.
No, that is absolutely fair and wise to have.
Let me double check. Are any of you guys trying to come in right now? Just please, a little bit spooked as well.
No, I'm here. The Slomy got scuff, so he needs an AMS, but I haven't called it yet.
Solomon has some friends nearby. They're just watching over him as well.
That's not them. If someone's outside, then that's not them.
But that was not them, the one you spotted.
Well, if they saw them outside, then no, it wouldn't be them.
Copy.
Are you where I think you are, or are you outside right now?
Oh, I'm in the boat.
Okay, yeah, in that case, anyone outside, 100%, nothing to do with me or you.
So this is a Mosley's route, apparently, so people coming and going.
Oh, I didn't realize. I've never done Mosley's. You ever done Mosley's?
No, never.
No? Okay, fair enough.
So there is an issue, or there is a concern about fines of certain crimes, and you were bringing that up to Cornwood.
Yeah. Cornwood agreed that it could lead to increased violence on what could be routine arrests, which obviously would, jeopardize the lives and welfare of officers. So he was going to bring it to the council. I would back him up on the point. That was what the discussion was about. And then I phoned a few other people, again, who I used to be criminal defense attorney for, and just to let them know, I know this is concerning for you guys, but I want to let you know it has been discussed. PD liaisons is in agreement, and we will be bringing it to the council as a point of discussion.
Did you tell Cornwood that in person?
Yeah, no, over the phone. It might have been in person. I can't remember. It was in person or the phone, one of the two. I mean, I would have phoned him to organise in person anyway. So, or did I do it after the PD brief? I can't remember. It was either in person or on the phone. I honestly can't remember, and that isn't me trying to be dismissive. I can't remember if it was on the phone or in person.
No, it's fine. There's been so much happening since then. So you had this conversation with Cornwood, and then you relay that information to the people who are coming and shoot up the place.
Well, I related to a variety of former clients. I couldn't remember the whole list if you asked me.
But you definitely talked to Cornwood first.
Yeah.
Do you recall the length of that conversation with Cornwood? Was it like a briefing? Or
No,
was it
I think maybe 15, 20 minutes.
You relay that information to a bunch of constituents, clients, what would you call them?
Well, I mean, now constituents, but then former clients. I mean, once I became deputy mayor, my bar license was temporarily suspended so that there was no, conflict. Because obviously the head of bar, it's their duty to, view things from the parameter of what is best for the lawyers and judges.
See. So that happens. You have those conversations, and then what happens next after you relay the information to your constituents?
I just went about my normal day until there was the vote for there was the outcome of the vote for the sheriff, and then there was a council meeting.
When did you talk to Hunter in all of this?
I mean, me and her usually touch base before a meeting, just to go over anything we wanted to discuss. So probably a couple hours prior.
So talk with Cornwood, relay the information, then talk with Cantor?
Yeah, probably.
And then after, you're waiting for the election, see?
Yeah, I was out front, and then obviously had to get moved up north.
And then you're coming back for the meeting with the council.
Correct.
Do you remember where you're parking when you come into the meeting with the council?
I always park in the multi-story.
Okay. And which side did you enter from?
What, for the building?
See,
Probably round back.
do you recall the exact route you took in the building?
Oh God, no. I mean, there's only really one route you can take. It's not like it's amazing there. There's one way you can get there, and only one way you can get there.
See, but it's really important for me to know if the people going in there spotted anybody strange with masks moving around.
No, the only people I spotted was there was a bunch of people waiting outside the room as I went in, but I think they were there to discuss like farming.
Do you recall, in the meantime, having meeting with anybody else?
I mean, I would say I have an insane amount of meetings a day, so nothing that stands out, but you know, I pretty much go from one meeting to another.
So now you go into this meeting, Sir Solomon. You're sitting down. The shooting happened. Your best friend who saved your life 5 years ago, he shot next to you. You're on the phone. You're trying to get direction on what to do to save. And it's unfortunate that Senior TJ Walker passing away. Now, since then, I mean, the next few days was chaos. The following day, Officer Aziz is killed. He's murdered.
Yeah, sorry
And
about
there
that,
is
by the way.
just-
He was a good guy.
Did you know him?
I worked with him a lot. Obviously, I was a defense attorney, so quite often, because of the hours I was working, he would quite often be the arresting officer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we worked a lot, and I liked him. I mean, I don't know how I felt about him changing that toupee every day, but other than that, he was a good guy.
See. Well, now there is a murmur going around in the street that Solomon had a part to play.
What, in Aziz?
No, not Aziz. I'm talking about the shooting. the courthouse shooting.
Yeah, I've heard.
See. And several days later, I believe on the 25th, Solomon is found almost not moving, presumed to be dead. Now I thought to myself, you know, what a sad twist of fate it would be if the one person who had the sense to react and did the right thing to save himself now is the same reason why he's being labeled as some type of villain.
Like people like to spit in their own narratives, don't they?
When you relay the information that you talked to Cornwood about, did you relay it in person or over the phone?
I think phone calls.
Try to remember if you can for certain.
I mean, you got to bear in mind two things. One, that was we're going back nearly a month, and two, I was in a coma. So, at best, I can say it would have been one of the two. I can't guarantee which one. Have you?
Solomon, you were found in Sandy by the beach. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I was told where I was found.
Do you have any recollection of how you ended up there?
No, not a thing.
Do you have any idea who did it?
I ain't got a Scooby.
If you did, would you share it?
Of course I would. Why would I not? It'd probably be in my interest to.
I believe I can tell you exactly who did it and why.
How do you feel so confident in who did it and why?
Because I've done a long bit of studying on my part. Because your case and your story has intrigued me extremely. The
Thank you.
information that you got from Cornwood, you relayed in person. It is really important for you to try to remember exactly who was there.
Wait, when I relayed what?
You talked to Cornwood. You brought up concerns about a certain statute and fines being outrageous, and how it is a issue that needs to be brought up to the council.
That's the one.
And Cornwood agreed with you on this point. After having that conversation, you relayed that to your constituents and former clients, some of which happen to be the people that came into the courtroom, into the meeting room and did the shooting. When you relayed that information to the shooters, you did it in person. You didn't do it over the telephone.
Again, I have no idea.
But your memory was intact then.
Yeah, I've been shot in the head since then, and in a coma. You know, the human brain doesn't work in such a way that I can take it back to the state it was in a month ago, sadly.
Do you have any idea who did the shooting?
What, on me?
See?
No, you've already asked me that.
Who would have a motive to hurting Solomon?
Oh, apparently you've already got that figured out, so maybe you should answer that question.
The ADMC, they backed your election, Solomon.
A lot of people backed my election. That's why I got deputy mayor.
See, but they did a lot of work campaigning on behalf of you.
They clearly believed in my vision of a fair society. Sadly, that's not the one we live in now.
But TJ passes away, and all of a sudden, the support of the ADMC disappeared, evaporated overnight.
I survived.
Maybe
and he
not
didn't.
overnight, maybe 2-3 days after. And I can see why you in the ADMC, or were in the ADMC, excuse me.
Was I?
Associated with the ADMC.
Was I?
Whatever the proper verb
I mean,
is.
I was their lawyer.
I think you were a lot more than that.
And why do you think that?
But from what I've looked into, even if it's not on the book, it's not on the record. Now, one thing I learned about the...
No, stop there. So what you looked into? So, what, phone calls between the deputy mayor reaching out to his constituents?
So
I mean,
you did a lot of-
I would argue if you go through my phone records, which I know you have, it could easily be argued that I could be connected to any one of multiple gangs in the city because I reached out to many, as
Like
is
which
part
one?
of the role of the deputy mayor.
But this is... Say there was a means of going through your phone and looking in everything.
Which you've done.
Your reach extends far beyond a few gangs.
Correct.
There was a massive campaign. And a lot of the people in this campaign are not associated with the ADMC.
Correct.
But I talked to a lot of people regarding Solomon and his story. And from my estimation, I came to the conclusion that Senor Solomon was very close with the ADMC.
Well,
If I'm wrong, I will admit it.
I mean,
Okay.
again, I was their lawyer for a long time, and I represented them down in the cells and in interrogation multiple times.
See, well, you will then have learned that they are very calculated in what they do. Extremely calculated.
You seem to know them better than I do.
Am I wrong?
I mean, I work with them in the capacity of a lawyer. I mean, in terms of their day to day, I mean, I would say, unfortunately, I do not know, but evidently you seem to know more than I do.
I think, well, I could be wrong. I make a lot of assumptions, Solomon, and I'm not afraid to make assumptions because I'm human and I follow intuition. And I share these ideas with people I talk to, and some who have more experience in a certain field will correct me. You have yet to correct me, so I assume perhaps I'm in the right track. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm completely off the mark.
What have I not corrected you on?
But you too strike me as someone that is extremely calculated. I think you took a massive gamble. And there was a few things that you overlooked.
Are we back on the council shooting or me being
See.
close with ADMC?
Well, I could have been completely wrong about you being close with the ADMC.
I mean, I'm telling you, you are wrong.
What about the shooters? Have you grown close to them since then?
No, I've spent significantly less time talking to them.
But you have talked to them.
Yeah.
Do you recall when the last time was, or is that part of your memory hazy as well?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably maybe 8 days ago, maybe more.
Do you recall what about?
I actually can't. I think they might have asked me something about new legislation. Thank you, double tap.
How about your impeachment?
Well, I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I'm in the dark. All I know is I can't sign in as deputy mayor anymore, and even that hasn't been communicated to me.
You know, I found it very interesting that the information in the details of your impeachment were unknown only to a select few, you obviously, and select members of the council. However, it was extremely odd that
Thank you, double tap.
the shooters knew about it without having the access to the information
Do you want to know?
directly.
Do you want to know a little secret?
Please.
I
That's why
was
I'm
told I was going to get impeached maybe a week before those articles were ever written up, and I was told by someone who is not in the council. Unfortunately for the council is that they often have meetings in secret with people in attendance who are not in the council. Those people evidently did not agree with the avenue that our democracy was going in, and they decided to become whistleblowers.
Can you say that? Can you repeat that again so I catch every word?
This bit has got to be off the record.
Okay.
So if you've written anything down, scrub it, because at this point, other people who are not me could be endangered by what I am saying.
Okay.
Are we both clear on that?
We are clear from this moment forward. Everything is off the record.
Right. The council, not all of it, but some of it, before the articles of impeachment were written, had 2 meetings, allegedly in secret, but with people in attendance who were not in the council, to discuss impeaching me. Some of those people decided to become whistleblowers and inform me, and clearly others, that an impeachment was imminent. So if you're wondering how impeachment got out in the world, that was getting out in the world before anyone wrote anything down. By the way, chat, that's completely true, and the person that whistle blew was Damien Tinkerman. But we ain't going to say his name to Coyote. That's completely true. Damien Tinkerman was at a secret meeting where they discussed impeaching Solomon, and he immediately got in contact with Solomon.
Barry Benson?
Used to be a client of mine.
Used to, but not anymore.
Well, I'm not a lawyer anymore, so I can't have clients.
Once your ability to represent someone in a court of law disappear, they cut communication entirely.
No, I mean, at that point, I'm a deputy mayor, and I look to serve my constituents in, the manner that is best fitting. So, communication would have been frequent with a number of people.
But Barry Benson in particular, was there any rapport with you and him?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure I represented him down the cells more than a few times. I mean, me and him weren't exactly awake at the same time. You know what I mean? So it was rare we'd be around together.
What about now? If you were to call him, would he answer your call?
At this time, God no. I mean, the guy's probably tucked up in bed somewhere.
Well, let's say we were able to wake him up.
Would he answer the phone? I have no idea. You have to ask him.
I mean, if he read your name in the caller ID, how do you think he would answer?
Again, are you asking me to speculate on the mental thought process of someone who I am not?
You're not in a courtroom, Solomon. I'm just asking.
You're aware I was
Would
a
it be,
professional lawyer for
would
a
it-
while, right? So that's my default.
Sure, sure.
But no, I've no idea. I mean, maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know.
What about any other member of the ADMC that you used to represent?
Again, I have no idea. I have to phone him and find out.
Every single one of them quit speaking to you and reaching out to you once you were no longer a lawyer?
No, I mean, we're still in communication. But again, you're asking me right now if I was to try and phone people, would they answer the phone? I don't know. I could try and phone my best friend in the whole wide world. I wouldn't know if he'd answer the phone or not.
No, I'm not so much in caring if they're gonna, if they're awake or not.
Yeah, but
I just find it odd
you,
that
you misunderstand what I'm saying. I could phone my
See,
best friend
see.
in the world, and I don't know if they'd answer the phone. If they're awake, you know what I mean? If they could be awake right now, I don't know if they'd answer the phone. They could be busy. Who knows?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Flint would definitely not answer. Also, what's that got to do with anything? Camden? Camden? Can you bring me a beer, dude? That's requesting my kid bring me a beer. This is great. Dude, I love Peppo, man. This just reminds me of being back on Wild RP. Not that we ever interacted as lawmen,
They're
but
asking for wellness checks and stuff.
are you not on radio? I'd assume they'd have radio there. But yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I understand. You know, especially with the state of the city right now. Oh, no worries. My kid brought me a root beer. Bless him.
Okay, so look, I just think, look, I'm gonna be honest. I just find it really curious. There was a group that backed your election more than any other group openly campaigned for you, so much so that the general public spoke about it, talked about it, and pointed it out to me. Now it doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn that there's some really good report there, really good, enough so that people who are not associated with that organization were confident enough to say, see, he was a part of that organization. Now they could have been wrong because they're looking from the outside. You probably were just a damn good lawyer. Now, since then it seems like you're no longer a lawyer, so all communication with this organization comes to a complete halt and it ceases. It's very curious as an onlooker. Someone who's trying to figure out who's shooting Solomon, who had a motive. It's almost never a stranger.
I mean, you've already said you know who it is.
I believe I have a good idea.
Well, then who do you
But
think
the
it
story-
is?
It's an ongoing investigation. I have to be really careful not to
I mean,
implicate or name someone without absolute proof.
shouldn't I be informed as the victim? It's not like I'm someone off the street asking. You know, I'm the guy that was shot.
Not until I'm sure. That's
Oh.
what I was hoping to figure out a little bit talking to you, but it seems as if your memory is so hazy that it cannot aid in any way.
Yeah, it's almost like I was shot in the head at close range.
And that you learn, of course, from the doctor report, not from any tangible memory.
Doctors, I woke up with staples and scars and shit all over my head. I didn't need the doctor to tell me what happened.
See, but a shot can be hopping readily from 100 yards as it can be from 5 yards.
Mate, I spent 15 years in the British Army. You think I can't tell the kind of damage that would be sustained from a small arm at range versus up close? I've got powder burns all over my face. You only get that if the gun is right in front of you.
What about Silas Moreno?
Oh, good guy. I used to do a lot of work with him back in the day.
Used to, but no longer.
No, I've not. I've been, at least from my memory, I've not seen him in a minute. I think he's civilian oversight board. I think. Could be wrong.
Has TJ Walker been buried yet?
I've no idea.
Trying to recall exactly what we were just speaking about. I felt like there was something important that.
Oh yeah, I was
mention.
asking. Yeah, I was asking who shot me, and you said you can't tell me.
Unless
Oh
I'm
no,
sure.
Silas Marina. You asked me about Silas Marina. There you go.
See, that's another person who campaigned for you. See,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
getting shot in the face. That's what it was. 600 yards, 100 yards, 5 yards.
I'm slightly concerned as a police officer that your knowledge of basic ballistics is lacking. I'll be honest.
Well, it's not that my knowledge is.
Well, it is.
waking up.
It is your knowledge. You were the one who was
Well,
like, "How do you know the
here's the
difference
thing,
between
you
at
wake up
range
from
or up close?" I mean, you know.
Look how strange this is. You're waking up from a coma and you go, you're licking your finger, putting it in the air, and you're going, I was shot from 5 meters.
Or I got
is
up,
ridiculous.
felt my
Okay, I'm
face,
just
and went,
saying.
"What the happened?" Look in a mirror and go, okay, well,
Okay. You look in the mirror, you unveil your bandages, and then what? You go, okay, this was shot directly from 5 meters. Come on.
Have
You will
you-
have to be told by a doctor or somebody who witnessed how distant it was.
you are clearly a man who has never shot someone in the face at close range.
Medium range.
Medium range. Okay, we'll do it up close, and you will notice a distinct difference.
Okay. So do you get the point I'm making here?
No,
Yes.
no. I don't, again, I spent 15 years of my life being employed for the sole purpose of soldiering. You can show me any bullet injury at this point, and I will be able to tell you probably what caused it and at what range.
Were you shooting the front or the back?
Would I shoot someone in the front or the back? I'd
No,
shoot.
were you shot in the front or
Oh,
the back?
in the front. Yeah. Entrance front, exit back. Although rather it seemingly hit the skull and then skimmed around the side and then came out the back.
How close and how dear was TJ to you, Senor Solomon?
I mean, I've already told you he saved my life 5 years ago.
You also say he was your best friend.
No, I didn't say best friend. I said we were very close. You said best friend.
Or like a brother to me. You said something like that. And then you mentioned that he saved your life 5 years ago.
Yeah. At one point, we actually thought we might be related. We even did a blood test, but it came back negative.
Why didn't you make an attempt to come forward to get his belongings? You know, I was responsible for holding them, and I held them for a long time.
That's not. He has family. That's not my place to take his belongings. Equally, I mean, between me and you, like, he didn't have anyone on his emergency contact list. So who the f am I to go and ask for his belongings if he hasn't put my name down as the person that when everything goes to shit, he wants to have his belongings? That's not on me. That's on his family. That's the right thing to do.
With no inquiry about his funeral?
I'm sure when his family get round to organising one, I will be informed and I will attend. But I mean, again, that's the passing of a loved one is something that should be the focus of immediate family. I'm not going to start nudging my nose in where, frankly, it don't belong, especially in a moment of grieving.
Have you reached out to the family members
Yeah, I have.
to offer condolences, I imagine?
Yeah, what else? That's all you can do at a time like this.
You mind me asking which family member in particular?
You know he's a very large family, right?
How about his father?
I don't remember who his dad is. Barry.
He-
You mean Barry? Barry ain't been around as far as I can make out since. I've not seen hide nor hair with the guy.
You were shot on the 25, I believe. I want you to pull out your phone. I'm sure you've done it. And looking at who you talked to on the 25th.
I actually haven't. 25th. How far back is that? Because texts are
Almost 30 days, about 25 days.
25 days. Okay, let's check it. That's a month ago. Excuse me. I I don't know, because see, text for me, I mean, on a subpoena, that probably looks different. If you look at your phone right now, it doesn't have a date next to stuff. It just past a certain time, it just says a month ago. Or it will say, yeah, past a certain time, it just says a month ago. So I can't tell you on that day because everything just says a month ago.
You don't recall who you reached out to to offer condolences?
Not top of my head, no. I mean, he's got a big family.
Is that again because of the injury?
I mean, I haven't got best memory the best of times. That's why I normally make copious notes of things.
See?
Also, you know, if you did something 3 weeks ago and you spend a lot of your time on the phone and talking to people, could you remember every single phone call and conversation and meeting you had? Probably not.
I believe I would if it involves the death of someone really dear to me.
You'd remember every conversation you had offering condolences. Every conversation.
If someone really close to me pass away, I'm not going to forget the call I make to offer my condolences to a family member.
Well, I guess we have.
That is me.
You have the joy of not being shot in the head multiple times.
That is me personally. So you never talked to Barry?
Like I said, me and him very rarely cross paths in terms of you know, functional hours, shall we say?
Kind of like me and you.
Exactly like me and you. I mean, you know, you've apparently wanted to speak to me for a hot minute, and it's only until today that it's taken place.
So you could have talked to Barry, the father, of course, of TJ Walker. But you don't remember if you did.
I might have done. I don't know. But like I said, it's me and him very rarely would cross paths. Just down to, you know, functional hours and all that. I've got a question for you. Who from Aziz's family did you contact?
Only his close friends.
So you didn't contact any of his family?
I wasn't aware that he had family.
Ah, okay.
I knew Aziz very briefly. He trained me a session or two. That was it.
That was a good guy.
He one of the best.
One of the best, but you barely knew him.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot.
Ah.
He has a long history and pedigree in the PD.
How long was he in office for? I generally don't know, by the way, that's why I'm asking.
Like 7 years, apparently.
Holy shit, wow, yeah. Long time.
Long time. You just ride with him for one day to know that this guy has a mountain of experience under his belt.
Yeah, that was definitely the impression I got whenever I sat down opposite him in the interrogation room. That guy knew how to work his way around an interrogation.
Do the doctors say when and if your memory will ever come back and your ability to recall situations will ever be accurate again?
I don't know how much you know about brain trauma or issues that relate to multiple concussions, but it's not a case of how long was a piece of string. See what I'm saying? Like, for example, when I woke up and I could only see in black and white, no one could tell me, well, in this amount of time, this will improve. It was a case of, we will monitor it, and when you notice improvements, let us know. And there's like glasses you can wear to help alleviate it, etc. But in terms of when your vision will naturally come back, or if it will naturally come back, it is unknown.
What about like 5 days ago? Is your memory from 5 days ago also hazy?
When was 5 days ago?
Just 5 days ago.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
it's not a specific incident that I recall it. I'm just trying to get an idea.
I don't know. You have to ask me questions and see if I can remember stuff.
So you can confidently say that you're not confident about.
Yeah,
your
I mean,
memory
look up TBI, which is what I have. Essentially, memory in general is affected, but short-term memory is affected above all.
In short term would encapsulate what, like a 20-day window or something, 30-day window?
I don't know, ask a doctor what they consider short term.
Who is the doctor that you have been seeing?
I don't know. You have to go through the paperwork and see which doctor it was that treated me when I was first brought in.
Have you done any follow-ups with any doctors since then?
No, not since the original diagnosis. Although I was back in surgery Friday, so there should be a medical report on Friday for whoever that surgeon was. It might have been the same one, actually. But yeah, I mean, the paperwork will all be there, so...
Okay, senor. Look, I think we can conclude our meeting here. I want to thank you for meeting with me and talking to me.
No, you're all good. I've got some questions for you, though, if you don't mind.
Andale way. Let's hear them.
Okay. So, you mentioned, and this is really me just trying to get a good understanding, because again, you said some things that you felt, pretty confident were true. Now, in your defense, you have said that, that may not be the case, but you have said some things that you were confident were true, and whether you're still confident on that, I don't know. So, what I'm interested about, particularly because it, could be dangerous, to my standing, is why you are so confident about me having a closer than usual relationship with ADMC.
Well, senor, now we come to the difficult part. I believe that until a doctor does not confidently assess you as being able to retain information and your short-term memory is no longer shut, I don't even think there's no use in continuing forward.
Oh no, that's perfect. I see. I've got a workaround for this.
It doesn't.
You still there?
Yeah, I don't know how much longer for though.
That's fine. Just come up here for me.
It doesn't just cast into doubt. It doesn't just cast into doubt like stuff that you recall. It casts into doubt everything until that can be cleared up.
No, see, that's a good thing. See, I can ask you questions, and then my mate here will remember your answers. Or I can write it down, Okay, right. I need you to act as my memory, all right?
Me to act as your memory.
There you go. So in case I forget stuff, you know what I mean? You're like an unbiased, conscientious witness.
Well, I will have to know who I'm talking to here. Can you introduce yourself, senor?
Yeah, my name's Diamond, mate.
You have some type of identification?
And he's here as my conscientious witness. You don't need to know his name.
I do not feel comfortable in this situation to have this man speak for you.
Hey, no. He's not speaking for me. He's just going to write stuff down and then hand me the notebook. See, there we go. There we are. So now you can feel confident that I won't forget what you tell me.
So, and what am I to tell you now?
Well, I'm curious as to what led you to be so confident about me having a less than client lawyer relationship with the ADMC. I mean, that could be very dangerous, if that is what people
like I
believe.
said, Solomon, I'm currently talking to someone who's suffering from TBI, and I do not think that it is proper to continue in any way until a doctor assesses you and gives me the green light that we can speak in.
Well, you had no problem talking to me up until now, so it seems odd that at this juncture you have an issue.
I was not aware of the state of your mind.
What, you thought I'd been shot in the head and I just was Kushti?
I see it was shot in the eye, so was slack.
Okay, clearly they made a sterner stuff than me.
Well, in any case, again, your mental is not like, you need a doctor assessment, and when it's clear, I would speak to you one-on-one without an intermediary dressed like a ninja who is not even revealing his face or showing any type of
he's
ID.
really into parkour, okay? Don't knock him. Everyone's got to have a hobby.
See, and I'm really into speaking to someone when they're in proper condition. I think you need rest in this situation, and again, when the doctor assesses and your mind problems are no longer a problem, we can speak more in depth.
Okay, let me ask you one more question then.
Go ahead.
How do you find Ziggy as a person? Do you find him? I find like he's difficult to get a read on. You know what I mean?
See, there is a gentleman next to me dressed like a ninja for some reason who want to take notes. It's a little odd, but we are thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if you got my question or not when you're on the radio there.
No. Say again.
How do you find Ziggy as a person? I always find him kind of standoffish.
Well, Senor, again, I feel uncomfortable talking about anything else going forward until I'm like certain that your mental is in a good condition. You are currently suffering from short-term memory loss, and anything that is said right now is it can be written down by a ninja, but without you being able to recall why you asked those questions, what was in your mind, the context of your inquiry, it is pointless.
Okay, well, how about... There we go, workaround. Let me just write down here why I'm asking these questions. Okay, there we go. See, I've written down why I'm asking, and now I'm just waiting for your answer.
What was your question?
How did you find Ziggy as a person when you talk to him?
Again,
I mean, I know
again, Senor,
I find him tricky, to be honest with you.
I'm looking at a man who is having massive brain problems, pulling out a notebook, calling a ninja on the scene, having him take down notes, and this is supposed to fill me with better confidence to speak to you?
Well, I mean, you were fine talking to me until, moments ago.
See,
In fact, you were
until I
fine
learned-
talking to me until I started asking you questions.
I have been talking the entire time, Senor.
I know, that's my point.
See, until
Until it came to a point where I started asking you questions. I mentioned
no,
my memory loss very
Until
early on in
I-
our conversation.
but I didn't understand the extent of your memory loss and your mind problems.
Okay, I'm going to assume then that everything that was discussed before we agreed to stop everything being on the record is thus being thrown out as being inadmissible. Correct?
Perhaps I need to consult with a doctor and superiors.
But I mean, you've just said you can't talk to me any further because of my condition, which would therefore mean that anything prior was also inadmissible, should it ever be required.
Sure, but you're the lawyer here. You would know better than me in this case.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the one who's got the notes, not me.
I think we shall conclude this meeting.
Okay.
Here, Senor.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Senor Ninja, did you give yourself the name Diamond?
No, it's his real name.
His real name is what his mama gave him.
Yeah, my mum.
See?
His mum was a famous jeweler.
Thank you for looking after Solomon here.
No worries, mate.
See? Okay. I will see you
Oh,
guys
still there.
hopefully in the near future.
Au revoir, Coyote. Oh, one thing. Just do me a quick favour. Say hi to Sean for me, won't you?
Who is that?
Ah. Oh, you're good, Coyote. You're good. Not that good, but you're good.